What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you on Healthier Choices Management. I want to go over some of the recent documents submitted to the SEC, what they're saying, and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So there hasn't been any recent PR submitted under HCMC. They did update their website behind the scenes. So as you can kind of see, they did make this section a little bit larger. They removed the clickable link up here. So there is some stuff happening behind the scenes, but aside from that, not really all that much. And then aside from that though, there was some documents submitted to the SEC on behalf of HCWC. So a couple S-1s, both submitted on February the 13th, and they were this. So this right here is a amendment number 2, no distinguishing dates under here, nor is there any distinguishing dates under the amendment number 3. So it is fair to assume that they did intend on submitting them at the same time, even though there's some inconsistencies, if that makes sense. So starting off with amendment number 2 right here, and actually starting off, I just want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Kaleem. He's the individual that did kind of bring this to my attention. I'm not really looking at HCMC all that much, maybe once every week, just to see if there's any spin-off updates and whatever else, because the last document submitted on behalf of HCMC was this on January the 23rd. And in this document, this more so coincides with this. So under the amendment 2, it does go over this layout right here. So the preliminary prospectus. And so that document, like I said, coming from HCMC on January the 23rd, that kind of does match this. So of course, that's kind of a good thing. Under here though, this is where they have a lot of good information. So it has a lot of, I guess, Q&As and whatever else. Whereas the actual right here, amendment number 3, which was submitted on the exact same day, this one is more so legal terminologies, risks associated to the business itself. And plus it does go over right here, this section, preliminary prospectus, 400,000 shares of Class A common stock. That was the initial. So I think that this is delayed. I think it had it backwards. Maybe this is actually the amendment number 2, and obviously vice versa, because this is old information and isn't technically the 3rd amendment, right? So that's definitely something to note as well. Under the 3rd amendment, I just kind of moved it to PDF. That way you can kind of see, but they did add this new individual, so a new law firm. So that does and is a little bit more optimistic that they are moving in the right direction, potentially close. I'll save you some time. Both amendments do not actually lay out the date when they're actually going to be doing a spin-off. So that's something to kind of consider. It does go over once again under the section 3 about this only 400,000 shares of common stock. So that seems like a very amateur mistake if you kind of consider it that way. But quickly going back to the 2nd amendment, because I feel like this one's a little bit more advantageous. So it just goes over what is a spin-off. I'm not going to bring that up here because I'm pretty sure that's common knowledge at this stage. And so it goes over what are the reasons for the spin-off. And so this is once again to reiterate that they are trying to build, I guess, value for shareholders. But one thing I did find kind of comical is that they are intending to enhance the attributes of both companies. I don't know how they're really trying to enhance HCMC at this stage, because by taking all the, I guess, productive assets out, don't understand how they're trying to kind of enhance it, but I don't know. They're trying to justify their own crap. Aside from that though, it says, when will I receive the spinoff? It says that you have to just follow the section that it says the actual distribution. And ultimately it says here, what is the record date for the distribution? It is blank, but it does say 2024 as what this document right here did state, January 23rd, 2024. Within that document, I've already done a video all about that. It does say that they're going to be doing it in 2024, or I believe up to January the 18th, 2025. But everything else within the document did allude to it happening in 2024. So that's kind of a positive thing. I still really do see this as bullshit. The fact that they did announce it in April, the ex-dividend date, and then now they just change it, or I guess the record date. So this is all very crap to me. But one thing I just wanted to bring up, it says right here, if I sell my HCMC common stock on or before the distribution date, will I be entitled to receive shares of the common stock in the distribution? And it says if you hold HCMC stock on the record date and decide to sell them on or before the distribution date, you may be able to choose either sell your HCMC stock together with your entitlement to receive our common stock dividend, or sell your HCMC stock and keep yourself the entitlement. So you do have to contact your broker if you intend on wanting to sell the, I guess, converted common A and common B of HCWC. So that's kind of an interesting note right here. So I've never really seen someone being able to sell future IPO unveilings. So I don't know what they were really thinking about that, but still, it is what it is. I really think if you are going to look at HCWC and you're really dedicated to this company, read through the Second Amendment, not necessarily the third, because it just goes over a lot of risks. And I think the risks are kind of common knowledge at this stage, because they are more of a duplicate of their recent earnings as well. Going over to HCMC on November the 13th, they did submit their 10Q. A lot of the risks that is listed there are just kind of thrown in the Third Amendment. So nothing really crazy. One thing that I did not like in this is that ultimately they have, what was it, a very small amount of cash on hand, especially compared to what it did have. But in here, they did actually state that they're going to be giving $1 million. So let's see, also $1 million, funny stuff. But anyways, $1 million they're going to be converting and giving to HCWC. As you can kind of see, I'm scrolling quite a lot. There's a lot of unnecessary documents and wording in here. But it says right here, so the following table sets forth our cash and capitalization as of September 30th, 2023. And so it does say HCMC will fund $1 million to HCWC. I think that's common knowledge, the fact that they were going to be giving money away to HCWC, especially considering they recently did get that $1.7 million loan, or I guess note, if you call it that, because, and plus on a side note, that 1.7 million note was actually under HCMC. So it looks like HCMC is going to be left with like paying that full amount, whereas 1 million is going to be given to HCWC. It's just sketchy stuff all around. I don't like this. There's a lot of companies that have kind of finite ties with like subsidiaries and whatever else, and them moving money back and forth. And especially this scenario when they're taking all the valuable assets out and plus now funding it with 1 million, I don't understand how they're trying to enhance HCMC, like I said. So it looks like they're just leaving it. And plus, if that was the case, if they're still trying to enhance HCMC, why did management take all their shares out? So that's kind of like a big middle finger to investors. But aside from that, I did find this somewhat comical. So ultimately in this document, it does allude to it happening in 2024, doesn't actually break it down on the actual date. But we just have to sit tight and wait. Hopefully they don't actually do another issuance or potentially a note, because as it stands, how much HCMC just through their operations is burning. If it does happen in, for instance, Q3 2024, HCMC will need more money. So that does mean even over and above that 13.25 million and then also that 1.7 million, they will need additional funding. And who's going to pay for that? Obviously HCMC to enhance itself, funny enough. So again, like I even said, and plus you can see what comment he's commenting on, this video is HCMC a scam. And legitimately, I have been covering this since the beginning. As soon as it started to spike, went down, I was very optimistic at that time. But as we can kind of look back now and see everything for what it is, HCMC legitimately is a horrible company, very mismanaged. They did have a lot of good opportunity to hit a home run, but they just kind of dangled a carrot in front of investors. And as well, just reading through a lot of these documents, they have no intention of doing anything valuable with HCMC other than the lawsuit, which most likely won't really amount to all that much. I believe there was an update recently, but nothing crazy significant. And I think that's more so associated to Philip Morris being able to sell the qcup or the Patent 170 equivalent. So yeah, I think overall, definitely take a look at this Second Amendment versus the third one. Third one is just not necessary. And plus it kind of confuses things, especially Third Amendment. It talks on only 400,000 shares, unless this is an additional 400,000 shares over and above, I guess, the Second Amendment. It's just very weird. Still does have the intention of it being $10 per share. Well, actually in here it does talk on between $9 to $11. So they're just using 10 as more the average, but it is intending on IPOing anywhere from $9 to $11. So once again, do your own due diligence at the end of the day, because I am not a financial advisor. I would highly suggest in not buying HCMC. If you are currently a investor, especially how it has been over the last little bit, like over the last 5 years down, well, I think it's crazy the fact that it's at 0001, but yeah, over the last 6 months it's very skewed up. I don't know what's up with the chart or something, because sometimes this does show 0001, but this does show 6 digits or so. I don't really understand the basis of that. I know once they did that distribution in April, that is where we did get that 6 digits, and a lot of people are saying that's incorrect. I'm not really sure. So let me know your thoughts on HCMC. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? But more specifically, and a very good question, do you still believe in this company, or do you believe in HCWC? Are you too much of a loss to, I guess, really go against the company? Like, what's your thoughts on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. It is only up until February the 29th. Simply sign up for an account with me. We throw $100 at it and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.